Okay, everybody, we are live. This is the Gimmick Table Podcast. I am your host, everybody's favorite player one, Johnny Cass. And I am very
Johnny
excited to
Cass.
have the OG. Oh, yeah. Very excited to have the original Chris Redfield, the one and only, in my opinion, Charlie Kraslavski. He is legendary and he beats the shit out of boulders.
Hello, everybody.
And right below me, we have Andrew Salo. He is the director of The Keeper's Diary, a biohazard story, as long as the upcoming film that we are all anticipating for, Resident Evil Resurrection. Very sorry about that. Resurrection of Biohazard Story. I'm a little excited about the announcement that they came out with the Resident Evil 9, to be honest. That's kind of why I'm like,
Yeah.
Cool. But all right, moving on. We're going to start out with introductions. So, Charlie, if you want to tell everyone who you are and your character name and a little bit of a background on you.
Sure. So I'm Charlie Kraslavski. In Resurrection, I'll be reprising my role as Chris Redfield, who I played in the live action cut sequences back in 1996 in Resident Evil 1 Biohazard. I also played the Keeper in The Keeper's Diary, which hopefully you've all seen. In our opinion, one and only faithful adaptation to screen of a Resident Evil inspired story. I was born and raised in Tokyo. And that's where I did most of my acting from probably about the early 90s to about 1996, 1997. I was like working as a full-time actor back then.
Oh, nice. And how about you, Andrew?
A little bit of my background. I'm originally from Michigan, and I've kind of moved all over the years. I've lived in Florida, I've lived in California, ended up in Utah. I've grown up with these games. They're kind of like an obsession to me. Love them to death, especially the originals. And I've never really been the biggest fan of the movies. And when Welcome to Raccoon City came out, I had a little bit of hope, but when I saw the movie, that kind of went all out the window, and I was probably about 30 at the time or so, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm not getting any younger, and I've been wanting to do some kind of live action thing in this genre or this field for some time, so I figured, why not? I'm not a Hollywood guy, I'm not an industry guy, but I've been doing video production for many years, so I figured maybe I can throw something together. And eventually Residents of Evil caught wind of what I was doing, especially when I got Charlie, Eric, and Greg involved. And it just kind of turned into this much larger thing. We did The Keeper's Diary, and now we're doing Resurrection, a biohazard story. So here we are.
Awesome. And I am very grateful that you guys are doing what you're doing. I'm a huge supporter. And I just can't wait. I hope everything follows through that has to do with Resurrection, because I feel like we all, as Resident Evil fans, deserve to have some type of movie that has a real connection with the fans and, of course, the actors and the characters and such. And so on and so forth with that. So I'm sure it will. I have faith, and I believe that it will. Fans will want to see it happen enough. So, Charlie, how did you get into acting, and how long have you been doing it for?
I kind of first got into acting just doing, like the school play as a teenager, and I can't sing at all, so I couldn't do the musicals, but each year we would have a dramatic play. And so my first role was in a play called the down staircase. And I played a kid called Charles Aarons. And people like really, really responded. Like everyone was coming up to me after the play saying like I was their favorite character and I did such a great job. And it was like really, really gratifying. And I think that's kind of my first memory of, feeling like I wanted to be an actor. It was like getting that feedback from people when I was in the school play. Growing up in Japan, I wasn't that interested in Japanese cinema, Japanese TV. I found it kind of very formulaic and boring. And I was really, really drawn in by like big Hollywood films of the time, all the big actors of that time, people like Clint Eastwood, Paul Newman, John Wayne, like when you think about kind of like the golden era of Hollywood, like those actors and those movies, like Escape from Alcatraz, not Escape from Alcatraz, The Great Escape, for example, those kind of, and, like Bullet with Steve McQueen, and like those kind of Hollywood movies from that era. I was just couldn't get enough of it and was always watching those kinds of films to the point where it felt like these people were like my family. And I don't know if it was because I grew up in Japan, and so I had this feeling of being an outsider, and all of these actors, I felt like I was more like them, in a way. And I just wanted to, from about that time, like when I was, young, watching movies, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be an actor. They were like my heroes, especially Clint Eastwood.
Nice. Andrew, how about you? When did you get into directing?
Gosh, for me, I took a film class in high school. This is my senior year in high school, and I remember it was like a big thing with wrestling because I just wanted to stay after school to like film and edit stuff, and my coach would be like, "You're showing up to practice late." So it kind of started from there, and then I went to college for illustration at College of Creative Studies in Detroit first, and then I was like, I don't really want to do this. So I went to community college, built up some credits, and then I ended up getting a film degree from Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. Make that of it what you will, film degree. So, yeah, and I've just been doing video production stuff ever since. So, yeah.
Nice. Charlie, what drew you to acting and what keeps you passionate about it?
I think, just what I touched on earlier, just the influence of Hollywood movies. And it was kind of like a world that felt very far away from me that I wanted to go explore. I kind of had my time in the sun, like in the 90s in Japan. That was my time where I was working like almost every day, either as an actor or as a talent manager. And there were other times where I kind of went back into acting, like in San Francisco and LA for a little while. But I had kind of, pretty much put it behind me when Andrew first contacted me. So when Andrew contacted me, it was not that long after I had first kind of learned the relevance of Chris Redfield and Resident Evil, not really realizing I'd been a part of it, because when we filmed it, I just knew it as Biohazard. And at that time, people were contacting me, just wanting to interview me or have me on their podcast, which I wasn't that interested in. But then when Andrew contacted me and he sent me his storyboard for the Keeper, it really just kind of struck me as, wow, that's a really cool project. I'd love to do something like that. And so that's kind of what reignited, my passion for it. And now that I've had a taste of it, it's like I can't get enough, and I want more and more and more.
That's awesome. And I got to ask personally, how was it when you got to go to a gaming convention and you got to meet all of the fans? Would you say that the fans kind of breathed life back into, I guess you could say, Chris Redfield, or breathe life back into your passion for acting or getting back into the character?
Yeah, 100%. That's where we met, you and I, at the Milwaukee Gaming Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time that I had been to a convention. It was Greg and I. And I was just blown away, by fans that were coming up to me and telling me these intimate stories about how they were so inspired, by the character Chris Redfield. I can't tell you how many people told me that, like, I got into law enforcement because of you. I got into, I'm a biochemist because of the game. I hear those kind of stories quite a lot, and it kind of floored me because, there's this long period of time where I had no idea that I was part of something that's so huge and so popular, and it just was really fun, getting to like meet these fans, talk to these fans, hear their stories up close, and yeah, it definitely made me feel like I want to be more involved in. Maybe not just acting, but like voice acting, but just to do with video games. It's like it's such a cool space. All the things that go on with making video games today.
Awesome. What was your first impression of your character?
So you're cutting out a little bit, but I
Can you hear
think
me?
you said, what was my first impression of my character?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the very first impression of my character that I got was the sketch. So when Capcom contacted the agency that I worked for, the first thing they did was they shared with us the sketches of the characters, and they wanted us to find actors that would fit physically, the physical type for those sketches. And so the very first thing I saw was the sketch of Chris and the other sketches of Wesker and Rebecca and Jill and Joseph. And I was instantly excited because the uniform that he had on was like one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. And I'm like, wow, I get to play this character. That's going to be like so fun. And the sketches had, kind of not an anime, but like it had that Japanese feel to it, the sketches. And I was just excited that I was going to get to portray like that kind of a character. And then from there, we went on to like wardrobe fitting, where we got to meet Shinji Mikami and the person in charge of wardrobe and makeup, and they told us very little about the project. It was very much everything's on a need to know basis. It was very secretive, so that kind of added this layer of mystery into it, where all we really knew was that it was a video game, and that they gave us like some very simple backstories about our characters, and that was really about it. I think I lost you, John. Are you there? So hopefully
froze
John's
a
coming
bit.
back. But that's kind of the humble beginnings of my character and the other characters.
Issues.
Oh, there he is.
Here's something.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So we were just talking smack about you, but now that you're back, would be nice.
I think I might be having a little bit of an issue. I could hear you, but I couldn't really see you. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Can you share a moment from a past project where you overcame a creative challenge?
Past project. A creative challenge.
The Keeper's Diary.
The Keeper's Diary. I think, yeah. I mean, the Keeper's Diary had a lot of challenges, not just creative challenges. It was made with a very, very small budget, under very kind of difficult conditions, and creatively, probably the hurdle was, I didn't have much dialogue, so it was really just about how to portray things just through physical movement and expressions on your face, and I think there were like several instances where I started going like a little bit over the top with it. I went, like too big with certain things. Like there's a scene where I'm scared of the dogs and I had this big, huge mask on my face. And so I was trying to like make it look like I was breathing really, labored breathing, like I'm scared. And it's hard to know, unless you're looking at the monitor and listening to the audio, it's hard to know how it's playing. And then later when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's crap. But, they were able to kind of fix that in post with editing. So, there's a limit to that, how much magic these guys can do later in the editing bay. But, there was kind of scenes where I'm supposed to be like terrified of what's going on outside my door. And I was just like totally overacting it, but, it's hard to know that when you're in the moment yourself. So you have to have good people around you like Andrew, who can be like, okay, you got to tone it down. It's a little too much, that kind of thing.
I try.
Heck yeah. I got to say, and I'm pretty sure I speak for all of the fans out there, that the Keeper's Diary like blew away anything Hollywood's ever done with the name Resident Evil. They're good action movies, don't get me wrong. But I feel the same way Andrew does on the films. They just didn't really do it for me. Like when I was a kid, I was anticipating them. But after seeing it, I'm like, who's Alice? I've never heard of her. I never even heard of the Red Queen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just seeing this and knowing that this was going to happen. And when The Keeper's Diary released, I was 8 years old again. And I got to sit down and I got to watch that on YouTube. And it's blew my mind with how good everything looked. Even with the small budget that you guys had, it was just great. So I gotta give you guys props on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So my next question would be how do you approach building chemistry with the other cast members?
Well, in the case of Greg and Eric, the chemistry was there. Like when we all met up again 26 years later, thanks to Andrew, when we did our reunion, like it had felt like not, like just a beat, like nothing, like it was just a normal thing. Like it didn't feel like we hadn't seen each other in 26 years. And part of that is probably because Greg is just so gregarious and fun. And he fills the quiet moments very easily. And I knew Eric a lot better than Greg, because Greg I only worked on that one project with the biohazard, one. But Eric and I used to compete sometimes for parts, or sometimes I would represent him, or sometimes we would both be working on the same, whatever it is, commercial or show. And so I knew him a little bit already. But I think I'm a very easy to approach kind of person, and I think I make people feel comfortable pretty quickly around me. Like Gracie, for example, when we did The Keeper, I think just getting to know someone, just asking some questions, and spending some time getting to know someone instead of just being in your own world. I think that's all it really takes.
That's awesome. And I can vouch for that too. You're one of the easiest approachable guys that I've ever met in my life that's in the industry. And I'll never forget the time when I came walking down the stairs from that hotel up in Milwaukee, and I saw you sitting down eating breakfast, and you're like, "Hey, come join us. Come join us. Eat breakfast with us." And I was like, Chris Redfield wants me to eat breakfast with him? I was like, oh my God. But that was really cool, and just an honor to be able to sit down and just chat with you about, Resident Evil and how it was, what it was like, doing the project. And it was awesome just to be able to sit down and chat with you about that. So my next question would is what is your dream project other than Resurrection you haven't tackled yet? Do you even have any?
My dream project.
Oh, I thought that was
that I haven't tackled yet. Let's see. So I have, I have some ideas of my own for what could be a game, what could be a film. I don't want to give away too much of it, but it does involve zombies. And it would kind of be a mix of some genres that maybe they've done it before. I feel like maybe not. But my idea is kind of like a zombie story, but a much different time and a much different setting than Resident Evil. And that's probably not very satisfying to people if I don't tell you some more, but okay. So all right, well, I'll just spill the beans. Yeah, it's kind of like it would be like if Resident Evil meets The Quick and the Dead, would be kind of like the elevator pitch. So it's kind of like cowboys and zombies.
Well, awesome. And
yeah,
Andrew,
and I think I was kind of partially inspired. I think I was partially inspired when I visited Utah, when I went to visit Andrew in Utah, because that backdrop, where he lives, is just like straight out of a Western.
Yeah, they used to shoot a lot of old John Ford and John Wayne movies out here. So,
yeah, I've been to Utah once before, and that was a long time ago, back when I was about 12 years old. But I haven't been there since.
It probably hasn't changed that much.
But Andrew,
yeah.
probably not. But Andrew, I mean, same question for you, man. What's your dream project other than Resurrection you haven't tackled yet?
So I mean, we have a few plans in the pipeline for row projects. One of them being Dino Crisis, the Third Energy Crisis short film that we want to do probably after this. And then we would like to do something with the epilogue files from the original Resident Evil Nemesis. Combine that into a story. I don't think it'll be live action, but that's next on the list of things to go after Third Energy Crisis. And we do have a very big project coming out probably next week, which will be a surprise. It's a bonus kind of project, so you'll have to keep an eye out for that. But other than that, probably move on to our own
Can't
original.
wait to hear more about that.
Yeah. Other than that, probably move on to our own original film for market once we're done with all this stuff, and then see where it goes from there. That's, if we can accomplish all that.
Very, very nice.
Yeah,
I had a
my short little arms.
Yeah. There you go.
Will the dinosaur be wearing a green vest by chance?
Yes. And he'll be punching boulders.
If you can reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can reach it. Or crushing boulders with your jaw. How about that?
Right.
Hey,
That
yeah,
works.
okay. We'll settle for that.
Just use my head. Just...
Yeah.
And so I had a question unrelated to Charlie, if I could ask Andrew this.
Yep.
So there's going to be a Jill Valentine.
Yeah. Yep. Jill Valentine
Nice.
is not Inez. Not Inez.
Yeah, so we have to address that. It will not be Inez.
Nope.
So I'm looking forward to that and looking forward to learning more about the project and more updates, and hopefully we can nail that goal, which I know that you guys can. And there's a lot of people out there with enough love and the communities. I got to say this straight up. The communities is one of the best communities out there for Resident Evil. Straight up, nothing but love for everyone. And I've witnessed that firsthand here in Milwaukee. I've witnessed it firsthand in Portland, Oregon when I was out there, as well as on the East Coast. And it's just been like I'm in the wrestling business, okay? And the wrestling scene, when it comes to the fans, are kind of like 60-40 on that. And you have people who like one product and you have people who like another product, and it's just constantly bashing heads together, which is more better than the other. But from a gaming aspect, Resident Evil is the one gaming community that I've noticed that has like immense love for everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what country you live in. It's there for everybody. And I'm glad to be a part of it since I was a kid.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And is there any future projects you guys want to talk about, or I know we touched on a few of those, but like anything else you guys want to talk about that's upcoming? Any interviews, any appearances?
Well, I do have some appearances scheduled, and it'll be both Eric and I in San Antonio, Texas at the Umbrella Con, and that's July 12th and 13th. So if you're anywhere near San Antonio, I believe the entrance is free. It's going to be in a shopping mall, so the only cost would be, if you purchase an autograph. And I think I can't remember his name. This is so embarrassing. But the guy who played Wesker in the movie is also going to be there.
Well, that's pretty cool. Two Weskers, man. You better be.
Two Weskers.
Be prepared.
he'll have his own table. I think we'll each have our own tables, but he should probably be somewhere close by. So that's pretty cool. Like I can beat up 2 Weskers at the same time.
I don't know. He's kind of a big dude.
He is pretty big. And it's not confirmed yet, but I think we might have an East Coast appearance in September. Both Eric and I, we're still working on that one. So I'll announce that when it happens. And then Malaysia at the Asia PopCon, I think it's like the 2nd week in November. You'll be there, right, John?
Yep.
I think it's like maybe like the 8th or 9th of November.
You're going to Malaysia?
Whatever. Yeah.
John?
I told you that. Yeah. In November.
Oh, wow. Cool.
It's first of all, I got to say it's an honor to be offered an opportunity to come out to Malaysia to be a part of their guest list. And it's also a huge honor to also, I think they want me to hold a seminar type panel along with a Malaysian wrestler that they have there to kind of show them the differences between American wrestling and Asian wrestling as well. So not only do I get to do that, I also have the opportunity to learn in their way of pro wrestling. So I take that very, very seriously, and I'm very beyond thankful for that opportunity as well.
Awesome.
So it's going to be a fun time. I can't wait. Actually, this will be the first time I get to travel internationally.
Oh, good.
Nice.
And my first stop,
you
it's
arrived
a
there
layover.
like, yeah. It takes like 1,000,000 years to get there. And then when you get there, because of the time difference, it's like 2 days later or something crazy like that.
Huh.
Yeah. But I got to
But,
say, the first country that I land in before I go to Malaysia is Tokyo. But it sucks because I only get to stay there for 3 hours.
Right.
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're working on some kind of an appearance in Japan, maybe in January, but that's also still in the works. So, yeah, given that next year is the 30th anniversary, I think we're hoping that we'll get invited to a lot of conventions and get to meet a lot of fans all over the world. That would be a lot of fun. Otherwise, projects. Projects. I think probably assuming that we get to film Resurrection, I don't really have any other big projects in the works. But I would definitely like to. I did get to be in an indie horror film produced by Brandon Salisbury and directed by Tom Robino. So, the same guys who did the documentary, George Romero's Resident Evil. They invited me to be in their little indie horror film called Whistle to the Maples, which I think they're almost done editing it. And so they're shopping it around for distribution. And I think we don't know yet whether it's going to just have, like a streaming release, or if it's going to have a physical release, if it's going to have a theatrical release, if it's going to go to any festivals. I think those things are all still up in the air. But hopefully that film will be out, in some form. I'm hoping like sometime this year, and I'm hoping it'll lead to other projects. Like, even if it's just like a little cameo here and there, I'd love to start being in films again. So if you want to have me in your film, just contact me. I'm a pretty reasonable guy.
Okay, sure you are.
That's awesome. And is there any place where fans can interact with you or buy your merchandise if you have any merchandise?
Well, for now, I just want people to support Resurrection, and there's tons of cool perks there. So for now, if you're interested in something autographed or like a call or something, those are all available for the next 23 days on our crowdfunding with Resurrection. I am working on my own merchandise. It's still kind of a work in progress. And if you're interested in that, you can see that on my social media. I'm calling it OGCK.
Awesome. And people who don't know about the OGCK, you should really check out the limited edition character of Charlie's Resident Evil 96, Chris Redfield. It is so cool. It is so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Is it still available by chance?
The signed edition is no longer available, but I think we still have a handful of the unsigned version available, because we it's just a limited
that's
a
really
limited
cool.
production. So once they're sold, they're sold. And we made a deadline for the pre-order for the signed version, which is already passed. So I do still have a handful of them left, but not the autographed version. So you could still get it autographed, obviously, if you visit me at if you buy it and you visit me at a convention, then I could sign it for you. But the signed version that we're selling is sold out.
Okay, good to know.
And
before we end
one.
this interview,
Maybe.
Is there any? I have not bought one yet.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. I thought you said you did. Anyway,
I plan on it if it's still available. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we end this interview?
Well, maybe John, maybe one of these days I'll get in the ring with you. See what you're made of.
Maybe. You got to teach me how to do the boulder punch. I really need to know how to do that.
The boulder punch.
Greg already taught me how to do the berry sandwich.
The berry sandwich,
I need to know how
right?
to do the boulder punch.
Yeah. If you can do them both at the same time, no one can defeat you.
You just gave me an idea. So as I have my opponent in the berry sandwich, I can power up the Redfield fist and do the boulder punch. Boom. Knock him
right
out.
into his cranium. Yeah.
Yep.
What else?
Maybe one day.
Just be good to each other and donate to Resurrection.
Yes.
Definitely. The link will be in the description of this video if you want to go to the Indiegogo site and check out all of the perks that they have. It seems like they keep adding new perks on a daily basis. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something for everybody. It doesn't matter how much they want to donate. There's something there for everybody. And it's just really cool. The coolest thing, and this is one of the things that I see most talked, is the Blu-ray perk. So you can actually get this on Blu-ray. That also includes the Keeper's Diary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that one is selling like hotcakes. I don't know. Do we have a limit to how many of those there are?
I don't think
I
so.
can't even remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, I think we lost him again. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. And there's no rule that says you only buy one perk. You can buy.
Sorry
as many
about my
perks as you
internet
want.
being
You can
choppy.
get that's okay.
That's okay.
You can buy the Blu-ray, and then you can also buy the private call with me, or the signed poster of Eric, or a call with Greg. There's all these other perks available. So get in there while you can. 23 days to go, and we're just about halfway there. So we need a big push.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on here and giving me the time out of your busy schedules to do this interview. What an amazing honor it is to talk to both of you, and I can't wait to hear.
You didn't ask me
more.
You didn't ask me what. You didn't ask me what my character's secret is.
Oh boy.
That was one of your questions, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Okay.
If you're
what?
And I haven't
Yes,
figured it out.
It was.
If we're talking about Chris, if my character had a secret, I would think it would have to be something really dark.
Can I take a guess
right?
at this?
Okay.
My guess would be that Chris's suspicion on Wesker happened before the mansion.
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. Chris, what before the mansion?
Chris had a suspicion about Wesker since before the mansion.
Unconfirmed. Yeah. No, I was thinking like if Chris had a secret and he didn't want anyone to know about it, it would be something like he has an illegitimate child with somebody, right? There's like some, child out of wedlock that Chris, when he was young, sowing his wild oats. So I think the Redfield line has already been continued, and we just don't know about it yet. I think that's his secret.
That would be cool. Kind of like how with the way it worked with Wesker in Resident Evil 6.
Mm-hmm.
How he had a illegitimate son.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he had an affair with someone who's like really evil. And he just didn't know it at the time. Like, who would that be, though?
Check this out.
Mm-hmm. A drag queen? What?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, is that
Love you, Annie.
was that did Annie send that?
Yeah.
The cosplay mom? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's Jill. She's our Jill.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting my secret out.
I'll actually be interviewing her in a couple of weeks as well, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, she's an amazing human being. She is like tough as what's the I don't remember what
nails?
the phrase is. Yeah, tough as nails, and just so smart and just such a genuinely nice person. Yeah. So she embodies Jill. Like she's the perfect Jill.
Yeah, when you guys were up there all together in Portland last year, everything just felt like it settled in perfect, especially when you guys were taking pictures together. And it's almost like the whole team was there. Yeah. I'm not knocking on Inez or anything, but it was for someone like me and someone as big as a fan, it was perfect.
Cool.
It
yeah,
really
I mean, Inez, we're here. Like, give us a call if you want to be part of this. But I don't think she's interested. So that's just the way it is.
Right. All right, guys. Well, this about wraps up the interview here with the resurrection of Charlie Kraslavski. Sorry about that. So don't bother punch me. All right, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Having us on. Yeah.